So gene therapy for Duchenne was also presented at this meeting. At this point, it's still relatively early in development. We are observing data coming from 3 different programs, 3 different companies. There's Solid Biosciences, there's Pfizer, as well as the Therapeutics programs. All 3 of them were presenting data from their phase 1 or phase 1/2 studies. And what we had seen basically were updates. There were 3 separate presentations. The Solid Biosciences presentation showed updated data that they had on their original 6 patients. 3 were dosed at the lower dose and 3 were dosed at the higher dose. They were able to provide some efficacy measures looking at the North Star Ambulatory Assessment as well as ambulation, and comparing them to a large external control group and showing the different spaghetti plots compared to what was seen in the large external control group. And that was interesting to see. They also announced that they had dosed their 7th patient, and that the program, which was previously on hold, is now continuing. The Pfizer study also presented some data from their first 6 patients, and they also looked at some of the similar assessments. They specifically looked at the change in the North Star Ambulatory Assessment and looked at how that compared to the change in the North Star Ambulatory Assessment that was actually captured in the control group in that placebo arm from a previous clinical trial. And they showed that there was differences, that the patients were stabilized relative to what was seen in the external control, where patients were declining on the North Star Ambulatory Assessment. And finally, the presentation for Sarepta Therapeutics. This is the gene therapy study, once again delivering a miniaturized or microdystrophin similar to the prior 2 programs through AAV delivery. And they presented a double-blind placebo-controlled study of 41 patients. So these patients were randomized to either receive gene therapy or placebo in the first period of the study. And then they were presenting the data from that 1-year period in the first period of the study, comparing the North Star Ambulatory Assessment. And what was reported was that there was, if you look at the subgroups, they divided, these patients were ages 4 through 7, and they divided into 2 different subgroups, ages 4 and 5 and ages 6 and 7 at the time of enrollment. And if you looked at the patients who were in the 4 to 5 age group, you could see that the baseline characteristics of these 2 groups was fairly similar. And after 1 year, there was a separation that was seen in the North Star Ambulatory Assessment in the treated group versus the placebo group. In the older group, ages 6 and 7, there was a difference actually in the baseline North Star Ambulatory Assessment. And so it appeared that the patients who received placebo actually on average were a little bit milder and had higher North Star Ambulatory Assessments compared to the patients who received gene therapy. The separation was not as clean, and as a result, the overall analysis showed that there was some separation in the study, in the treatment versus the placebo group, but the separation did not reach statistical significance. Nonetheless, I believe the data is encouraging and is optimistic, I think, for the promise of gene therapy in general. And I think that overall, among these 3 programs, we are seeing positive signals that gene transfer of a miniaturized dystrophin, such as mini-dystrophin, microdystrophin, does hold some promise for the treatment for Duchenne muscular dystrophy.